Hi, and welcome again to today's edition of Market Analysis. Today is the November 29th. I'm Giovanni Benagor, analyst, trader, and educator with Vantage Markets. Well, let's begin today's analysis. Let's talk about real quick about crude oil prices, which briefly dropped below the level at which they started the year yesterday. Given the spike in oil prices has been the source of a lot of pain, it's worth taking a step back to consider the implications. Energy prices were creeping up at the start of the year as the global economy emerged from the COVID-19 pandemic. Supply lines weren't running smoothly after 2 years of lockdown induced slumps, and demand was strengthening as consumers emerged from their shelves. Then Russia started a war in Ukraine, causing prices to surge on concern that supply from one of the world's biggest producers might be cut off. That sent inflation soaring, eroding purchasing power for consumers everywhere, and forcing the Federal Reserve into action with the most aggressive interest rate increases in a generation. One reason oil prices have retreated is because Russian supplies were never cut off. They may not be feeding into Europe, but output will continue to go to Asia, even as the group of seven wrangle over implementing a price cap. Another is that COVID-19 lockdowns in China have dented demand in the world's biggest crude importer. Social unrest in protest at these policies is unlikely to strengthen the economy now. Finally, higher interest rates all over the world are poison for growth and will keep global energy needs contained for a while. The Fed, having been slow to start hiking after a decade of borderline deflation, now looks determined to save face by extending the fight against faster price gains into 2024. After all the worry about an energy crisis earlier this year, lower prices may feel like a relief, but the reason costs are down is a gloomy economic outlook. And that's why any good feeling won't last long. With that being said, let's take a look at what we can expect or what uh, is the fluctuation of the markets for today. So let's take a look at here the Nasdaq. Yesterday's market fluctuation, really, it almost reached our resistance. From there. It retraced a whole lot, I mean, somewhat, all the way down to 11,577. From here, it kind of rebounded back up. Now, keep in mind that I have placed a 300-point spread between my resistance and my support. In the middle of that is 11,650, which is where the market has been fluctuating a whole lot. Right now, it looks like it's on a downtrend or is moving lower. I will assume that this movement lower will find some support at yesterday's low at 11,570-ish. From here, should it find support, it'll probably bounce back up towards the pivot, which is 11,650. If it does, if it continues to move lower, then we'll come down to find support at 11,500. That's yet to be seen. But the indications that the market will be moving lower for today, at least for the open, is right in front of us. That's for the Nasdaq. Let's take a look at the S&P 500. Same token, same scenario. Moved higher yesterday, retraced, found its footing at 3,960-ish. From here, it rallied back up a bit, but it's on a downtrend right now. I do see the S&P 500 moving lower and perhaps reaching our support level of 3,950. Here's crude oil. Okay, so crude oil, yesterday with that fluctuation, it moved lower all the way down to right around 73 and 60 cents. From here, it just did a consolidation stage ranging, and from here it broke out back up to our previous point of 77, which is where we have a pivot. It continued, it pulled back, did a small pullback towards the $76 mark where the year began, and from here it did another attempt at $80. It failed, and it retraced. Now we'll make another attempt at $80. Most likely, that will be the case. That's why I have it so near. Okay, but the pivot point obviously also acts as a magnet, so it could probably just do a nice pullback towards the pivot, and then perhaps do another bounce or another attempt at $80. So that's the crude oil. As far as Nat Gas goes, Nat Gas is also just looking to stay right around the 680, or above the 670 target or price, below $7. I don't see much fluctuation right now in Nat Gas. Kind of calm. The whole markets are very calm. Gold, 1750 is a pivot point. I have 1740 as my support, which that's what was tested yesterday by the markets. So let's see if that will be the case. We'll continue to do so today. Then we have here silver. Silver, after doing nice, a little consolidation ranging, it broke out to the upside. It retraced 21. I will assume, I would think that today will be also a calm day. So this same scenario will continue to do so until something changes it. And so ranging around the 21,200. As far as copper goes, copper has is looking to trade lower. So I placed my resistance at yesterday's lows, okay, which was a support. Now it became my resistance, and it's trading lower. So I'm using this candle of yesterday high as my support. Most likely will continue to go lower. Then we have Bitcoin. Bitcoin has really been just calm. Also, not much movement in here. That will continue to be the case. As far as for the euro is looking to retrace after reaching almost 105. It's retracing back down to 103. Will it find support? Let's see if that will be the case. The pound has actually bounced off my support, and here we have a no candle, and so therefore I'm just gonna lower my support at 119,700, and then we have 120 as my resistance. As far as the dollar index goes, if the dollar index continues its move upward, first it'll have to reach up to 107. It trace above that 107.5, but let's see if it'll continue to do this, or will this be an indication that the market is looking to continue to go lower? Let's see what will happen later on today. Let's see. Well, have a nice day, and I'll see you tomorrow.